Good afternoon, morning, and welcome to the mothership. Today we're just going to be going through a few little things. Now, I think some of us have already seen this, and it's the fact that Tuesdays are our Olympic lifting day, so we're going to alternate between snatch, clean, jerk, snatch, clean, and jerk. We're going to be finishing on the 2nd of September, so it's going to be lasting for the next 12 weeks. The big thing about this is, one, come to the gym with your percentages already done. Yes, know what you're going to lift, know what you're going to be focused on, whether that be Q push to the floor, whether it be hips under your shoulders. Have an idea of what you're really going to be working on. Everything is there for you in terms of the fact that you know the percentages, you've already done what's the 1RM testing, and then you're going to go from there. Remember, the point of this is not egotistical lifting, it is to get better, to become more efficient at the movement you're doing and being safe doing it. Coming at this going, you know what, I'm just going to muscle this, is not going to be productive in the long run. You want to be better at the movement so that you minimize the chance of injuries as time go on. Otherwise, just go and do strong man or strong woman and go do the weights to the point that sometimes even they would say a little bit questionable in form. The big thing here is talk to the coach, have an idea of what you want to work on or what you're struggling on. If you're unsure, have a fucking say here. Yeah, say something. Be like, this is what we're going to look on, this is what we're going to say, what am I struggling on, what don't I understand. Have the conversation so that you have an opportunity to be better. You want to have some onus in terms of your direction that you're going and having the ability to understand, right, this is where I'm at. Now you can have the conversation going, how do we get there? And that's where you'll see you will get better. And this applies to everything. If you don't have double unders, it's because you haven't spent the time to do it. This is now giving you the opportunity to spend that time. So use it. In terms of that, we're going to be doing toes to bar skill work as well as chest to bar. We're going to alternate in the same pattern. So you'll see in a second here. The big thing about this is that it's always going to be alternating. So the weeks that we're going to be doing cleans is actually when we're going to be doing our toes to bar and chest to bar, and the weeks that we're going to be doing snatches is when we're going to be doing our strict handstand push-ups as well as our strict ring muscle ups. So that's going to be the biggest key that we're going to go through in that position. As you can see, we have levels to this. So level, no toes to bar, and then level 2, which is I have toes to bar. A lot of strict work is going to be brought into this because strength is the foundation of how we become better. The same way you can see people who have kips and like, look, I can do 5-6 kips now on a butterfly because it's quicker. It's like you haven't earned the right to do butterflies. If you can't do 10 strict pull-ups, you don't have the strength and the positional awareness to keep yourself in positions without getting hurt. It's the same reason why we don't do true 1RM testing, because very few people have the foundations to do true 1RM without getting injured. That's the key here. So we need strength and we need the ability to get in and out of positions. So a lot of the toes to bar, a lot of the chest to bar, which you'll see in a second, and the rings and the strict is going to be driving you through strict movement because the strict movement matters. So that's going to be a big key here in terms of the next coming weeks. And then what we'll do after all that, we'll go into a squat and deadlift cycle, and a squat and deadlift cycle is actually primed at more getting you used to moving the weight more efficiently, quickly, rather than trying to get you increased max so that you can be like, oh, look at me, which is really not what we're about here. So the big thing is moving things more efficiently and getting through that. Now you'll see when it comes to the chest to bar, which is going to eventually load. There you go. Your chest to bar is going to be going through a similar thing. So you have none, so toe assisted learning how to be into the chest to bar and pulling into that position. Then we have our pull downs and then hollow holds, because the core and linking between your top half and bottom half is a big key thing. And then the level 2 side, so it's I have it, strict chest to bar is going to be the biggest key factor in getting you better. And that's the big thing here. If you can do the strength on the stricter version of it, the ability for you to do the dynamic movement becomes easier and easier. It's like, who would have thought? But also I like to say, like, this is going to be a fun one. Hence why I gave you a nice little, this is going to be fun. So that's going to be a nice fun one for Hirschsprung's disease. Have a little bit of fun on that one. Now when we take a look at it from the next week, so obviously the 3rd week of July, We're going to go to the snatch side of things. We can see that Monday doesn't have anything. We have a knee and plate jump, which is going to be a nice thing to do. And then we come to Wednesdays with a strict. So we're going to alternate when we see some of these days for the reason it keeps it fresh, but also ensures that we are recovering from different capacities and seeing them at different times, which is always going to be a big thing. Your strict handstand push-ups follows the same thing. 20-second wall hold box push-ups, negative wall handstand push-ups. It's the exact same workout. Whether you are RX, RX Plus, or you're scaled or inter, whatever you want to category you want to denote yourself in, it's the same thing, just applied from a different perspective. That will still be hard if you're an RX Plus, if you do it right. This could also be done if you're an inter or scaled. The ability to do both is not determined whether you can, it's more in the sense that I want a good form. And the biggest thing about this is that when we're doing any form of handstand stuff, that tripod, that beautiful triangle, is how we should do it. Your hand should never be in line with your head, and anyone that does that, please move your hands back. And your head should never be in a position where you're bending at it or trying to create a couple of double chins. The key is perfect alignment, because perfect alignment transfers the force perfectly through the body, and when you do that, you're not putting too much stress on one part of the body, and that's a good thing. When it comes to strict ring muscle ups, all we're going to be doing is working through the hold. So false grip hold is going to be a big thing, learning to get the forearm strong in that position. The eccentrics can be done from a box. It can also be done from a band. It depends on whether you want to use the rings or not. It's your choice. Lower ring transitions, once again, we've been doing enough of these that we know where we're going on that, and it's just building your capacity and learning to snap, so that way the more you do it, it becomes instinctive when you get the opportunity to do it. For those that can, you just start with more strict. Who would have thought? And then we're going to work on that grip as well, the same positioning, and then low transitions. But we can have a feet off the floor, we can have feet on the box. There's always so many different ways of doing this. The key here is just to have a little bit of run, because I'm still here, fun. Yeah, 2 days of running, who would have thought? I did warn you. So that's effectively how things are going to be kind of alternating to and from in terms of how we do things. I know not all of you will be able to see up to it, but everything up until the end of July, well, technically it will be end of August, by the end of the weekend, will be there for everybody. You have a 30-day view ahead, so you can effectively see most of what's coming up for you all the time. So if you have questions, give us a chat, a message, or whatever you like, to be fair. But other than that, you now have an idea of where we're going in terms of Olympic lifting. Then you also have an idea of where we're going from strict ring muscle ups, strict handstand push-ups, do not chest to bar, and do not toes to bar.